away. 1 second. Oh wait, I paused that shit. That's right. Or did I? I did. Incredible. Didn't even get the sound of there. Hi there, Leon. How you doing? Is it even audible? Because for some peculiar reason. There we go. That should be good. We should be doing it. Nick is hi. How you doing? Been a hot minute since we went live. I think at least a couple of weeks. Because last time we started off with painting up. We were painting this video over here, Alhar. Playing your Dark Urge run. Didn't hear you because my sound was muted. Well, my sound was also muted and I had to figure shit out, so how you doing, Fur? Yeah, Fur, good to see you guys. In any case, it's been a while since I've been last live. Last time that I was live, I was painting up this guy over here. This is Alhar, a character that I did not plan to have survive the misadventures that he was unfortunately forced into. But with a natural 20 on my part, he did. So, yeah, and we're going to be doing some D&D prep today. This is not campaign D&D prep. Turn my back to music down a little bit. People are all over the place with how they mix that stuff. Thanks for the feedback. Might also just be the mic. I've kind of been looking into getting a different mic because I've been using this Blue Yeti for a while now, and it's not exactly the best. Neither is my PC for that matter, but what can you do? The PC works fine. The mic might be worth replacing, depending on what I have available to me. I know that a friend of mine, he has a spare lav mic that I can come pick up at some point. But today, we are going to be preparing some Adventurers League stuff. For those of you who are not in the know, who are somewhat tangentially familiar with D&D, I love how you can actually see like what's in the shadow and what's you can't see what's not. 1 second, I might check stuff. Now that's just plain spooky. Oh no, night. Okay, that wasn't gonna work. There's a spotlight like right up there, and it's very annoying, especially when it comes to like maintaining light balance, because you can see, like, ooh, there's text. Where there's shadow, there's text. Oh, but you can't see it otherwise. Hi, buddy. What's up? Meow. Yes, you meow a lot. You meow. But a little bit of introduction for Adventures League for those of you who might want to pick up Dungeons and Dragons after like stuff like Baldur's Gate 3 kind of like rocking your world and basically all of your free time. Most people, when they think D&D, they think like, oh, it's a home game. It's kind of like what they do with Critical Role or some such, or a live action or a long form campaign or some sort. And well, maybe I can't really commit to that if I am on the road a lot, or if I am going to be moving soon and I won't have my friends, or I just want to play. Hello, GG. Just want to play some D&D. 1 second. Meow, what's up, buddy? Sometimes people just want to play D&D, and they don't necessarily have the resources to do so, or they're like, well, I have friends, but I have these other things that I want to try out because I'm like seeing what my friends can do, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could just waste like one thing or just slightly different. And for that, Dungeons and Dragons has a cat stream. Hello, cat. For that, Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast, they have a long-running official set of adventures and campaigns called Adventurers League. And the thing about Adventurers League is that you can, if you have an Adventurers League legal character and you do all the due diligences, make sure. Jesus, I'm stuck in my throat. If you do all your due diligences and make sure that all your log sheets and stuff are correct, then you can take a character from one you can take it from a adventure that you were running in Paris, for example, and then getting on a plane and going to New York or to Sydney or to Tokyo, what have you. And you can take that exact same character and play them there as well with all the log sheets and stuff kind of just, well, qualifying and working just fine. And these adventures, they are all kind of organized on par with the most recent running adventure book, or at least they were when they were still actively publishing like full-blown adventures. Nowadays they don't really do that often. And whoa, buddy, what are you doing? Gigi just decided to sit on the keyboard somehow. What are you doing, buddy? Why are you clicking on the mouse? You also want to be a gamer. Little gamer Gigi. Let's lay down here. But these adventures, they're often tied up with a currently ongoing or recently published book. And it kind of gives you a sub-adventure if you want to run stuff over. But I usually, whenever people are like, yeah, I want to play D&D, but I don't necessarily have a group, I always recommend that people kind of just give it a go just once, because it kind of gives you a feel for everything, kind of how the game works, and because people come and go a lot of the time, you can often kind of just run through everything and kind of learn everything at your own speed. But we are going to be preparing an adventure from the 5th season of Adventurers League, which was the Storm King's Thunder season. And the Storm King's Thunder season is based off of the adventure book of the same name. 1 second. Yeah. Which is this book. It is a book about giants and a it's a book about giants. Giants are a kind of species in Dungeons and Dragons. They big, they hefty, they chunky, and as kind of a setting for the game, the giants live in a very structured hierarchy called the Ordning. And which basically states okay, so you are giant X, you are good at this. You are giant Y, you are better at this. That makes you better than the other giant. And the readings from the giant rune carvers and shit, they've kind of just declared that the Ordning is gone, and until it is reinstated, it's every giant for themselves. And these adventures kind of deal with the aftermath of this going on, and yeah, we're going to be reading through the adventure. Going to be seeing. I'm going to be taking a couple of quick notes on stuff that I'm going to need to pay close attention to while going through these things, because I've been running Adventurers League for since shortly before the Rona hit, so since 2019, making this my 4th year kind of running this kind of thing. Of course, if you count COVID, along with Zeus went out on a date. Oh boy. Was she real? Did she come back with a pulse? Good for him though. So hi, Hausch. Yeah, good for him. It's kind of like with that, it's kind of like, yeah, you kind of just have to put yourself out there first and foremost, and once you do that, then just start building up experience and kind of identifying what it is that you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. In any case, let's go read through this. Front page. Seer has been rescued along with Ocaster, the infamous archmage that founded a wizard school that is now in ruins in the foothills of the Cloud Peaks. However, while leaving to get the two to safety, a cloud ship arrived, unloading a shipload of pirates on the ruins. Seer knows what they are after, and needs the heroes to stop them and their leader. Nope. So Adventures League usually kind of runs through everything in a fairly set pattern. Mostly character name level, race, class, passive wisdom, wisdom perception, and anything other notable. So that's mostly what I'm going through, kind of seeing if I need to note down anything in particular for this. But at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, so what's your modifier? How does that go for you? And then based off of that, it's fairly straightforward. Let me pick a playlist for me to have on my earbuds, because still my PC here does not have a functioning sound card. Like I'd have to move my my little mixer. I'd have to move that over, and I'd probably want to get like a fresh cable for that as well. In any case, just to kind of run through of what Adventurers League is. The D&D Adventurers League is the official organized play system for Dungeons & Dragons. Players can create characters and participate in any adventure allowed as part of the D&D Adventurers League. As they adventure, players track their characters' experience, treasure, and other rewards, and can take those characters through other adventures that will continue their story. For more information on playing, running games as Dungeon Master, and organizing games for the D&D Adventurers League, please visit the D&D Adventurers League home at blah 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 blah. When your entire party is defeated, just campaign over. You'd have to discuss that with your DM. It's very possible that the DM's like, okay, do we want to continue this campaign as kind of like running with the fallout afterwards? How do we want to do that? Like, it's something you'd have to discuss with your DM. Okay, now the fun thing about Adventurers League is that now they're mentioning a lot of nonsense about like, oh yeah, no, so there's spellcasting services. That means that your character can basically just come back at the beginning of the next session. These are old rules. Over the past few iterations of Adventurers League, like, they come with new rules when they come with a new fancy rule book that kind of gives you more options. So a lot of the spellcasting services and stuff that they're kind of mentioning here don't necessarily always apply. But what is important to note here is that this adventure is optimized for a party of 5 14th level characters. That is important to note because this means that I will probably have to adjust a lot of the encounters to how they would fit for, well, other things. Because as you can imagine with something that kind of moves around a lot as much as D&D and this kind of way goes, you can get character levels that are kind of all over the place. This means that you can often have adventures where you have a party that is far too strong for the monsters that are put there, or you can have a party in which the players are far too weak for the adventures they're playing. Now, the way that they kind of adjust for this is they have 5 different levels of adventure. They kind of go through this, which is based off of, firstly, the number of players that are there, and secondly, the average party level. In this case, I know for a fact that I'm going to have at least 3 players, probably 4, and I know that in this particular tier of adventures, they've done the previous 2 adventures from these series, but I'm going to have to see how strong they get. In any case, that means that I kind of fall in the in the 3 to 4 characters, average party level less than, equivalent, probably less than or equivalent, because Adventurers League is divided into 4 separate tiers. Tier 1 kind of runs your characters through level 1s through 4. Tier 2 runs your characters through level 5 through 10. And Tier 3 runs from level 11 to level 15, if I recall correctly. And then Tier 4, which is almost never played, runs from level 16 to level 20. And as you might be able to imagine, a lot of people are like, yeah, no, I kind of got bored of this character idea, so I'm going to be running with something else now. So they run back and go do something else. Go back to Tier 1 or Tier 2. It's actually fairly surprising that we have a number of people that are actually playing Tier 3 adventures at the time. So it's for 5 14th level characters. I'm going to have to keep that in mind with preparations. That means at most average. Now, heads up, I did give a cursory read through of this adventure earlier, and I figured, like, well, I'm going to do the full-blown preparation live on stream. How the fuck is my... this PC is old. Very old. Okay. Well then, adventure background. The gods of the giants have dissolved the ordning, the caste system of giant kind. This has caused the giants to attempt upward social mobility by proving their worth to the gods before the ordning is re-established. Seer, a mysterious show woman, has been recruiting adventurers to perform tasks to aid the small folk against the giants' incursions. The ruins of Oldcasters have offered adventurers the possibility of wealth, magic items, and knowledge of ancient magic. Seer came across information that the secrets to giant rune magic were to be found in these ruins. When she and her familiar were attacked while exploring the ruins, her pseudo-dragon familiar escaped and enlisted a group of adventurers to rescue Seer. The adventurers were also able to bring the Archmage Oldcaster back from a 200-year slumber. Leaving with Seer and Oldcaster both hurt and weak, the group witnessed a strange scene. An enormous ship floating on a cloud unloads an army of pirates on the ruins that they were fleeing from. Being responsible for their injured charges, the group didn't stay to see what their plunderers came for. They are able to see the cloud eventually move into the mountains. In the evening that has passed, Seer and Oldcaster have guessed that the pirates are looking for in the ruins. Oldcaster has a secret treasury that includes an extensive library that houses lost arcane knowledge and magical treasures. This vault, however, is located in a pocket dimension that requires a ritual to enter and a different ritual to exit. Seer is betting that a giant by the name of Baron Rajarat behind this raid. Rajaram is looking to collect all the wealth and magic he can in order to boost his standing when the ordning is reinstated. Giants. Seer and Oldcaster send for adventurers to again dive into the ruins and help a mage Oldcaster has trained to alter the ritual in order to change the entry and exit points. They also wish for the group to keep the pirates from plundering the vaults. Oldcaster warns the heroes of the traps and defenders they may face. However, even he couldn't tell you exactly what to expect, as he used the unpredictability of the pocket dimension to change the challenges constantly. Oh, he's all curled up on the desk. Isn't he cute? Look at his little buddy. This is Gigi. Say hi, Gigi. Oh, he even said hi with his other little paw. What a buddy. But there are 3 parts, not 4. There are 3 parts, not 4. That's a little bit of an oversight. And of course, there's adventure hooks. But with these things, I'm kind of like, yeah, no, it just kind of... It's an understanding at the board game store where I do this, that it's kind of like, yeah, no, you kind of just join in for the ride, oftentimes. And this also means that oftentimes you can get characters that are just extremely apathetic and run away at the first sign of actual danger, which is always fun. Because the thing with Adventures League is that more often than not, a lot of people will use the metagame a fair amount of the stuff. But this isn't necessarily always like they'll metagame a lot of the stuff, and I often have to remind them, does your character know that though? But at this tier of play, I'm assuming that most adventurers know most things that are kind of happening. Okay, part 1, back to school. The rescue of Seer and Ulcaster from the ruins of Ulcaster's School of Wizardry turned out to be a narrow escape from an unconventional ship full of pirates that floated on a cloud. Seer is grateful to the characters for the rescue, but has another task. If the characters didn't participate in the previous adventure in this series, Re-Education, they may have another reason to be in Baragost. See the Adventure Hooks section below. Reading something out loud. Usually whenever I do my own D&D prep work, I kind of copy what they do here, which is like, okay, just have like a 1-cell table, just writing that. Fairly useful for me to kind of be like, okay, this is what I'm reading now. The town of Baragost bustles as merchants and vendors hawk their wares in the morning hours and provide fresh baked bread and farm fresh vegetables to the townsfolk. Fully rested, the busy town is a welcome place to ensure that the world goes on despite its dangers. A uniformed messenger rushes up to you in the crowded square. Message for you. He hands you the letter and continues on his way to other drop-offs. The message bids you meet with Seer, the Burning Wizard Inn, at your earliest conveniences, which is well understood to mean now. So here I would kind of be like, okay, so are there any preparations that you want to do? What is the... This would be where I ask the players to kind of be like, okay, so please describe your character for me. Thank you very much. Kind of let them do any preparations that they would otherwise need to do, kind of like anything big that they want to get out of the way. When the characters are ready to meet with Seer, read the following. This part of the town is pretty quiet this early in the morning. You arrive at a 2-story building that sits among other inns and taverns. The wood sign above the door has a robed figure about to stomp on a wizard's pointed hat that appears to be on fire. The sounds of chairs moving along a wooden floor and a broom sweeping along the floor are easily heard within. At a table near the stairway leading to the second floor sits a show woman with long robes speaking with an older human man attired similarly. A suited dragon sits atop the woman's shoulder, and as she occasionally offers it a scrap of food. Seeing you enter, they wave you over to them. My character is a murder hobo thief. I've had those characters before. They are not fun. They usually end up dying as well. I remember this one time that I had these kids, like, very clearly, like, yeah, no, at most 13, 14, and they were like, yeah, no, I'm gonna play, like, the murder hoboiest of murder hobos. Anything that kind of speaks against me, I try to kill it, and, it was eventually kind of out of game. I was like, okay, could you please not do that? You're ruining other people's fun here. You're ruining my fun here. And then I ended up killing them, almost by accident, because they were too weak for the adventure. The woman bids you to have a seat at the table. It is good to see you again. Thank you for coming so quickly. Have you met Ulcaster, the archmage that founded the wizardry school that this fine town built up around centuries ago? Okay, so if people haven't necessarily played the previous adventure, you receive the following information. Seer traveled to the ruins of Ulcaster to explore what remains of the rumored magical secrets that Ulcaster possessed. While there, she was surprised and overcome by an ancient vampire. A group of adventurers rescued her from the creature. The same group of adventurers also freed Ulcaster from his centuries-old slumber. He returned with Seer and the group to Baragost to recover and plan the reclamation of the ruins. They all made it out under the ruins to find an enormous ship resting on a cloud hovering over the area. There were creatures that looked like pirates being lowered onto the ground. They were making their way to the ruins. The group thought it prudent to leave in haste due to the weakness of their 2 charges. And then the information is provided to them again. Seer originally went to the ruins to find Ulcaster's library that was rumored to contain the secrets of the runes and their magic. With Ulcaster back, the rumors have been verified as true. Ulcaster hid this valuable library in a pocket dimension. This space is accessible only by performing a ritual in certain areas within the dungeons. There have been rumors that a powerful cloud giant by the name of Baron Rajaram has been scouring the region for wealth and magic in order to improve his standing amongst the Ordning. Seer fears that he is after the same library. His magical prowess may be just what is needed to break the protections in order to find the secret library. The Baron has been leading a band of pirates that have been pillaging along the Sword Coast. If he has also been able to gather powerful magic wielders to his cause, gaining access to the library shouldn't be too difficult. It's at this point you read out loud. The tired-looking mage descends the stairs from the rooms above. He staggers to the table where you all sit and plops down at the table. Oldcaster gives a sideward glance at the new arrival. This is Tanos. He has come from a group I am allied with, and he and I stayed up quite late last night teaching him what needs to be done to get into the library. He needs your protection to be successful. So basically, it's an escort mission through a dungeon. Oldcaster then starts giving information about the library. Now, the library is small, however, it holds the secrets to the magic of giant runes. These secrets, in the hands of Rajuram, would bring disaster to all of the Sword Coast. I'm pretty sure that's going to say. Oh, all of Faerun even. Wow, okay. Step up. The entrance to the library must be changed and watched more carefully. The ritual will change the entrance and exit of the library. Oldcaster explains that the library is at the end of a series of rooms. The rooms are occupied by creatures that are meant to keep intruders out of the library. The creatures are randomly summoned and cannot be predicted. The terrain from where the creatures came is also teleported. The library cannot be exited from the entrance. The way out is hidden within the main library. If the robbers have entered the pocket dimension, they are likely looking for the way out. I doubt any pirate has the arcane ability to find, let alone open the door. Oldcaster has given complete instructions on how to alter the entrance and exit so they are accessible from a different location. There are two locations which the ritual can be performed to open the pocket dimension. The first is the sarcophagus in which Oldcaster's body was found by the first group of adventurers, and the second is the altar to Mistra found in the room that the vampire claimed as her lair until recently. For the sake of brevity, he directs the characters to go straight to the altars. Seer offers the characters 1,000 gold pieces to rid the library of the pirates and prevent them from leaving with any valuables. She emphasizes that there is little time to waste because of the uncertainty of what exactly Rajuram wants. Additionally, Oldcaster offers the characters an additional reward of 1,000 gold pieces to help Tanos through the pocket dimension and ridding the library of intruders that would gut its contents. Neither provide an advance. Noted. I can imagine some of my players being like, ooh, but can I get some in advance to buy potions and shit? No. If the characters did not play D&D DDAL05-15 re-education, Oldcaster provides the characters with a map to the ruins with instructions on how to enter the dungeons. The second map is of the dungeons themselves, indicating where to perform the ritual to enter the pocket dimension. Seer mentions that she suspects there is a back entrance to the dungeon somewhere in the hills southeast of the ruins. Now, the way that Adventures League used to work is that you could choose a faction with which you were allied. It was one of 5 different factions, but nowadays they don't really do that. So I think that kind of, depending on the time and how long I feel like we can go, and because I'm only going to be playing with 3 to 4 players, so that tends to be a bit faster than playing with like 5, which is what everything is balanced around, or 6. 6 seems to be the max of what people feel comfortable with. So if I do feel like that I would have enough time, I can also be like, okay, as you are traveling out of the city of Baragos, heading to the ruins of Oldcaster, a paladin approaches you, bearing the holy symbol of Lathander and a pendant signifying their membership in the Order of the Gauntlet. I'm sorry to keep you, but I have urgent matters to discuss with those that bear the pendants of the Order. This is basically an optional quest that people can go on. This dudelet has been sent by Dawn Captain Ezelin Thrulon of the Church of the Morning Lord. He was asked to speak with the group hired by Seer and approach those in the Order. It has come to the attention of the leaders of the church that a rift leading into the Underdark has opened in the dungeons of the ruins of Oldcaster. The church has worked hard to limit access to the ruins from the outside. This breach gives access from below, and the creatures of the Underdark are not ones the Order wants wandering around on the surface. The secret passage into the dungeons from the hills has been collapsed, and access is no longer a threat. If the characters from the Order can ensure the chasm is closed and no longer usable, the church will be grateful. In order to accomplish this, the paladin gives the characters a scroll of Earthquake. He tells them that it may seem extreme, but it is the only way to ensure that the rift closes permanently. It is essential that you concentrate on the spell for a few seconds. That should be enough to close the gap and ensure more fissures do not open. Part 2. Oh, hi, buddy. Oh. I like having a little armrest. The characters make their way to the ruins of Oldcaster with Tanos, the wizard that performs the rituals necessary to enter and leave the pocket dimension in which the library and treasury are located. They have no altercations while travelling to the ruins. While the skies over Baragost were clear and blue, there are storm clouds that hang over the ruins of Oldcaster's School of Wizardry. Flashes of lightning can be seen at the peaks of the nearby mountains. There is no sign of the enormous pirate ship that floats on a cloud. From the edge of the plateau where you stand, there are not any visible signs of pirates either. And then, okay, then Oldcaster tells the characters that they can slide a statue to the side to reveal the stairway leading under the plateau on which the ruins sit. I will note down that that is told to Tanos. This doesn't exactly feel like an overworld theme, what I'm listening to right now. It isn't really, it's more of a here we go. Different thing. 1 second, let me close the door. Very broken English. Good job, Ferwin. What were you saying? Audio mixer. Keep it at that. That way I can kind of see what isn't going. Watch out, buddy. No pause on the keyboard, please. You know that I don't like pause on the keyboard, buddy. Okay. As the light of day starts to disappear behind the mountains, you approach the courtyard where Oldcaster told you the entrance to the dungeon is located. The courtyard is lit by torchlight, which gives the area a soft glow. This place is abandoned. How did those torches get there? There's a statue on the far end of the courtyard that has been pushed aside to reveal a staircase that leads down into the darkness. Once in the ruins, the characters must make their way to the area in which the ritual needs to take place. General features, kind of general features of everything that's kind of around here. Always good to know. Usually when I go through all this stuff, everything that I kind of go through, like with mentioning stuff, it's like, okay, so these are the things that I want to incorporate into my own things because it's important information for the rules and rule technical stuff. So the pirates have lit torches in order to be able to search the dungeon. The dungeon is brightly lit 20 feet from where each torch is located. Aw, little curly buddy. You classed cloud kill. Are you drunk, for one? You sound like you've had a little bit too much to drink. Yes, of course. Okay, buddy. You're going to start pressing buttons, and I don't like that. Now, fortunately, this keyboard I can unplug very easily. So you can lie down on it what you want, my friend. This kid is spoiled. Spoiled little buddy. Also, that doesn't surprise me. Okay, it is damp and cold down here, and all the rooms that have been explored, there isn't anything of interest in any of the areas. Important areas are kind of mentioned here below. It is also important that people protect Tanos. Tanos is not a social young man. He is a prodigy under the tutelage of Seer. When he does speak, he is short and to the point. He is very secretive and never reveals anything about his mission. He hangs back and does not engage the enemy. He has the following stats: AC 12, 15 when using mage armor, HP 40, saving throws, strength -1, dex +2, intelligence +6, wiz +4, everything else is 0. Tino supports the characters by taking one of the following actions at the end of each round. Either a healer's kit, one character regains 1d6 +4 hit points plus additional points of hit points equal to the character's maximum number of hit dice. Okay, so and they can't regain hit points from this again until it finishes a short or long rest. Oh hey, 1 second. I see the other cat here. I'm gonna close the door to the balcony. Oh, run, baby. Flurry of Blows actually in D&D itself doesn't have a topple, doesn't topple anyone. It's just a bunch of damage. Okay, okay, so he will either be magic missiling or he'll run over to someone and heal them, which he can only do once per short rest. He can also use the shield reaction, and it doesn't indicate that he has any spell slots needed, so I'm gonna assume that he doesn't need any spell slots for any of this. If there are characters that belong to the Order of the Gauntlet and have reached rank 2, use the encounter under Secret Mission The Order of the Gauntlet below. Otherwise, the characters participate in the default encounter go away. Again, I will have to see how I feel about this. I'm kind of running this thing. This room is covered in dust. The default encounter go away. This room is covered in dust and its contents strewn about the room. There's a gaping chasm here that chills the entire room with cool air from below. A carcass of a creature that resembles a beholder lies on the floor, remnants of a previous altercation. There are men and women. Men and women here mulling about. They brandish weapons and aggressively move towards you. I am going to be reading this in a much more dramatic tone as well. The Zell can do 3 bonus actions for flurry and 2 regular actions of punch for 8 punches in a row total. You can do that as a monk in D&D 5th edition. You just don't have the additional topple that goes along with it. Like, it's basically just like you just punch if you spend key points on it. Okay, so there was an encounter here, and it's either you face the pirates, or you face the stuff that came in from the Underdark. Either or. So I guess I could always just toss a coin for this, I suppose. The pirates are here to keep others from entering the pocket dimension. There are 3 master thieves and 4 swashbucklers. So I'm going to have to keep count of how many of each creature I'm going to run into, based on adjustments for the encounter. Rafa had 666 and kicks his HP down to 601 turn, to 301 turn. Ooh, that is a good series of punches. Very weak and weak is remove a Master Thief and add a Swashbuckler. And strong and very strong parties, which I'm probably not going to get. and a Master Thief. I think that for very strong parties for this, I would need to have a full group. Actually, no, I would need more than a full group, with characters at level 15. Or at least with half of the characters being over level 15, because in average, when you round in D&D, you round down. Okay, so I'm going to be assuming, how many was it again? 2 Master Thieves and 5 Swashbucklers. And here I have all my other stuff. My encounters. Bone Naga. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to run with Nagas for this. Golems, Diviners. Master Thief. 2 of them. Swashbucklers, 3 pages in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now to do. I would be doing the fun part. However, I have Buddy here lying down. Oh, Buddy. No, little boy. Once Gigi is gone, I will go and grab everything. Once all the foes have been dispatched, continue with the following. Tenos pipes up. This is it. He starts to bring out items that are needed to performing this ritual. Tenos finishes the ritual about 10 minutes later, and there is a flash of light, and the portal appears in the middle of the room. You can see that it is dimly lit on the other side. The character can go through at any time while the portal lasts. Tenos tells the group that the portal will be active for 5 minutes. If the characters wait more than 5 rounds, pirates start looking into the portal from the other side. Treasure. The pirates have pouches with a total of 250 gold pieces and a sapphire worth another 250. And experience-wise, there isn't really much to worry about here. Yeah, so I think that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be flipping a coin for what it is that I'm going to be using. So I will compare and contrast. There is an Alhun, a mind witness. A mind witness, I believe, was the beholder-like creature. Mind witness 1. Hello, baby. Beep, boop. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, no, this webcam's white balancing is kind of out of whack. An intellect devourer. A single mage, since I'm most likely going to be using a very weak or weak. And I guess it doesn't really matter which wizard I end up using. And an Alhun. I'd look up what an Alhun looks like, but meh. Okay, I love how the different ones kind of like, you know, there's different things that happen here. This room is covered in dust and its contents strewn around the room. There's a gaping chasm here that chills the entire room with cool air from below. A carcass of a creature that resembles a beholder lies on the floor, remnants of a previous altercation. The freshly dead corpses, however, are the victims of the creatures that are looking directly at you. You see one creature, tall, wearing robes, a bulbous head that has tentacles where the mouth should be. Its skin is dry and crackled, while its eye sockets have become sunken with pinpricks of light for eyes. The creature is accompanied by a mage who looks disheveled and has fresh claw marks on his face. Along with these humanoids is a creature that hovers in the air. Protruding from the top of the body are 6 tentacles ending in eyes. There are also 4 tentacles on the bottom of the body without eyes on the end. There is a single large eye in the middle of the body. So basically, beholders, they come in different levels of beholderiness. You have the beholder, you have then the mind witness, and then you have one lesser one, and then you have a spectator as well. Then basically everything from that point on is more or less the same encounter, and we go into part 3. Oh hey, Fnatic wins. Nice. Kind of have LEC postseason is slowly coming on as we reach into season finals, and kind of have that on. I'm kind of like, oh, Fnatic, you were doing so poorly at the beginning of the year. Nice, you're doing very well right now. Okay. Characters go through the portal and enter into the pocket dimension in which Ulcaster has hidden his library. Which I have mapped right here. Jesus, that is a big ass courtyard. I don't think anything's gonna happen there though. Forbidden Descent. This is the map. And it is very, very fucking big. You can see here that this is kind of like, okay, this is how big one square is. So I'm going to be counting all this out as well and kind of be like, okay, how many rolls of paper am I going to need for this? I'm probably going to be sticking to like maybe 2, maybe 3, because I know that all the encounters kind of have to be run. Okay then. Is that a library in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? And then a reminder of what Tenos can do. The rooms in the pocket dimension are void of any light. However, the room description assumes that the characters have a light source or are able to see in the dark. Now that is a very contentious point in D&D. Like, do you have dark vision or not? It's very annoying. A lot of frustrations come up because of it. Oh, yay, cool. The portal causes a feeling of slight nausea as you kind of travel through it. The room you end up in is very nondescript. There are no furnishings save for the altar from which the portal still stands, showing you the room you just came from. There are men in this room that are lounging on the floor eating apples. Okay, there are 4 swashbucklers, 2 master thief, and 1 mage in this room. The characters get surprised that they did not take actions before going through the portal. If any actions were taken by the characters before they used the portal, they don't surprise the pirates. And then for the very weak here, remove a swashbuckler. The opponents here fight to the death. If captured, they give no information. They would rather die than face Rydrum's wrath. Tenos moves over to the altar and places his hand on the symbol of Ogma. He speaks the words, "Knowledge is power," and the symbol glows. A compartment then opens in the altar, revealing a small bag. Tenos removes a piece of agate from the bag and pockets it. If asked what he took, he tells the characters that the agate is necessary to complete the ritual to leave the library. Very to the point here. I think that I would want to go for a... Thinking in terms of miniatures here. Don't really have an incredible amount of mage characters. Especially not male mage characters. So I think the one Yeah, that's actually kind of an oversight in terms of the miniatures that I have. And I don't have anything that, that I don't have any mage characters is kind of frustrating. Or painted up. But then they go through this encounter easy enough. A lot of stuff combat. Like, with this 5-room dungeon kind of thing, it's very easy to just be like, you know, you kind of go from one encounter to the other. I hope you're looking forward to a big old dungeon slog. So I'm just reading through this and kind of making notes of everything that I need. And then we're going to be gathering miniatures. This little friend that I'm resting my hand on here will... Yes, you. You are the friend. Oh, don't fart on me again, buddy. Mr. Flatulence. Then we go on to Stone Cold Stoicism. This round room is constructed of marble and has red and blue veins in it. There is another door across from the one you entered through. There are statues in the room. One is a statue made of stone, while the others are made of wood and iron. The stone statue stands next to the door you came in. The other two stand next to a door on the right wall. The guardians are 1 stone golem and 2 shield guardians. Their sole purpose is to keep creatures from getting out of this room. They don't move until the character reaches the middle of the room. They fight to the death. There is no shield guardian amulet here. Its owner long ago departed this place. Very straightforward. Very weak party has 2 clay golems, or like a very weak party is only 2 clay golems, and the weak party has only 2 shield guardians. Look at what you've done, buddy. You knocked it over, you silly butt. You're very silly. Silly boy. You mad at me, buddy? Yeah. Oh, what's he doing? What's Dad doing? Collecting miniatures, that's what he's doing. Like, I have miniatures in mind that I'm going to be using for this particular thing. Particularly the Juboko Mini. As well as this Earth Elemental. But for that I would actually, like, I have little nubs at the base of him. That I have something to hold on to when painting. Or I might just cut them off and put him in his place. I'm kind of assuming that I'm going to be sticking with a very weak party, so I will only need these 2. However, I think it always pays to be sure. I have so much fun stuff to paint up. The main reason why I haven't really had any like stream time over the past few weeks is because I've been so extremely busy. Like it was a couple of weeks in which it's that moment of you're like, well, I could stream, I should stream, but I'm tired, and if I stream, I know for a fact that I'm not going to be good tomorrow. I'm going to be absolutely fucking knackered. Oh, he curls over to the other side. Hi, buddy. So much fun shit in here. Scoot. Like, for instance, this. centaur slave holder. It's gonna be very fun to paint up. But like with a lot of these things, I'm kind of like, well, I'd want to have a setup that could actually show a lot of the details that I'm working on. Because I'm not the most detailed painter, but I still want you guys to be able to see what it is that I'm doing. Yeah, we're gonna be going with these three. Move this way down here. I don't think I'm gonna need it for the rest of the encounters, but I guess that this would also kind of help out. Like, this guy is like, yeah, no, he's made of clay. This guy is the one that's made out of stone. Made out of wood, rather. And this guy's the guy that's made out of stone. About that much. I might even have to end up filing some of this off. Because I can tell that the sides have a bit more paint and stuff to them. But no, it appears to be unnecessary. In there. Earth Elemental. Or as other people would know him, Stone Guardian. Oop. Sorry, buddy. Oh, what a surprise. So upset. Surprise. Frustrating part is that it's a scenic base that kind of belongs with the miniature, so it kind of needs to work. One, 2, and 3. Now, the greatest miniature trick that I've learned from other people is using magnets and tins. Specifically Pokemon tins. Thank you, Zumi. There's one Czech miniature painting YouTuber that I follow called Zumi Kito, who first revealed to me in a dream just how useful Pokemon tins were, which is why I ended up buying my first Pokemon tin and got me back into the Pokemon crack game. This guy's gonna full out. I'm just gonna super glue it all in. Actually, I can imagine why. Probably this entire thing's bent because it didn't cure properly, didn't cure straight. Boop. It's a shame. I'd wanted to keep this guy separate from the base so that I could like, paint the base up separately. Oh well. Such is life. Hi, Sora. Yeah, okay, that's that kind of prepared. And then there's the Guardians of the Library in the next room. The floors and walls of the square room are made of black marble with gold and silver veins. Another door is on the wall, and to the right of you, the one that you came in. Keeping you from getting to the other door is a large snake-like creature with a human face. It hisses at you and begins to speak. Ah, food. I am hungry and have little care for what you say. I don't wish to end up like my kin. Apologies. As he says that, more creatures appear that can only be described as skeletons that could have at once been like the creature that spoke to you. So it's 2 spirit nagas and 2 bone nagas, and for very weak parties, I would only have the 1 spirit naga, which I'm assuming for which I can actually use this fucking chonker. This big ol' mini. I know that nagas are supposed to have human faces, but frankly, I think that the serpentine thing is more important than sticking to lore accuracy for this. I will attach him here. Again, the Juboko seems to be causing issues for me. Let's fill here. And now that the super glue has dried, it hasn't yet, but I can always pretend. There. Now it is going to start shaking and it is going to let loose, so I'm probably going to want to find a foam block of some kind. I have foam somewhere. Kind of just attach it there. Or attach it there, stick it in there. Yep, there we go. The thing with miniature transportation is that, like, either you have to have a thing that is custom made for something that is of this scale and size, or you have to improvise, and I improvise a lot. Oh, buddy is getting up. Are you tired of not being the focus of your dad's attention? Hmm? Oh, buddy. He's a little buddy. I think that this is it in terms of the large creatures that I have to take with me. But I do need to find a couple more snakes. And I have foam in here. Yes, I do. Gradually over the years of hobbying, you seem to find like a collection of things that you use or know that you end up using, but never really like need to use regularly enough that it's on your desk. Like this particular method of miniature transportation is the second that I have actually. First of which is a old toolbox that I bought for cheap at the local everything store. Bought this thing and filled it up with foam. I kind of have like little foam blocks that I can like put characters in there and have everything neat and set up. And then eventually I was like, well, this thing is a lot to take with me. And it required a lot of foam and a lot of super glue to kind of get everything in place. So eventually I went over to magnets, because magnets, like if you compare the two, like, I can have more sizable minis than something like this. Like it's not even this isn't even the biggest box I have. It's the best one for miniatures this scale, because let me grab a couple of examples. Because if we look at, like, Pokemon tins are kind of like the big go-to tins that people kind of go with, because, well, they are fairly common. You can find them all over the place, and for most smaller scales things, they are fine. Like in terms of height and stuff, yeah, no, they're perfectly fine. However, for something like this, I would need to attach it to the very bottom of the tin here, for which it is simply too wide. Like I cannot attach it here because the base itself is too wide for the magnets to actually contact the side of it. That's why I bought this tin originally. Or recently, actually. Very recently. Last paycheck, actually. I was like, oh hey, I have money and haven't been able to support my cardboard crack addiction for a while now. I actually have another snake printing at the moment, but I was threatening to run out of resin, so I gave some more resin to it, and that kind of messed up how everything was binding. So yeah, I had to start that print all over again, which was not that much work, but it's never fun to have to do anyway. So this is my my creatures tin, and this is the tin that I mostly use for if I'm taking a lot of different things with me, varying scale and size. Fairly nice, fairly big, but it's too big for me to actually like stick it inside my dice tray, which is kind of like the big complaint that I had with this particular tin. And frankly, all things considered, I am slowly but surely beginning to consider my next crafting project once the laser cutter at my local makerspace is done and has been repaired, because I was the last things that I was crafting there, it was at that point that was like, what, the filter is 99% full, but then we turn it up and it goes back down to 50. Something's not right here, and then after that it broke. So I'm not sure if it's been repaired yet or not. I remember the space, but I'm not in the Facebook pages. I really should, or I'm not in the Facebook page. I'm not in the Discord group, and I really should be, because there's a lot of useful information that for practical things there. But those are transportation tins, and I can start considering like a chest for in which I can put this metal sheet. Sheets of this stuff. It cuts surprisingly well with just like regular old kitchen scissors. Hi, baby. You are small. Actually, I might just use a smaller tin instead of the big one, depending on what is needed here. This is puzzling. The marble floor of this octagonal room bears grooves inlaid with gold, which forms a 4x4 grid. Each square of the grid is further divided into 4 squares by intersecting grooves inlaid with silver. One square in each of the larger sections bears a rune etched in copper. There is a cylindrical hole in the floor that has black marble discs in. Each disc is plated in electrum along the edge, with runes etched upon it colored in copper. When a disc is taken off the top of the pile, the next disc pops up. It's kind of like one of those plates, one of those automatic plate things that you often find in like hotels and all-you-can-eat restaurants. There are statues on opposite sides of the rooms. One next to the door you came in and one on the opposite wall. Both statues are of a robed man with a long beard, one outstretched hand and the other arm around a book. There are no other doors in this room. Okay, the grid is a simplified Sudoku puzzle using only 4 unique characters. There is a handout, player handout 1, with the partially completed grid. Player handout 2 has the rune pieces to fill in the rest of the grid. Like Sudoku, the same rune cannot be in the same 2x2 grid in silver, nor in row or column by the 4x4 grid. So here's the puzzle solution. Here's the handout. And here's what I'm going to have to cut out. Is that what is needed? 3 of each? Yeah, no, it is. In this kind of instance, I'm kind of like, yeah, no, I like using props for this thing. It just feels like you're putting just a little bit more effort into it. And hey, since we're here, might as well do a little bit of arts and crafts. Three wind runes. Missed one. Three stone runes. And then 3 frost runes, by which there is also immediately then 3 fire runes. Hey Doc, how you doing? Welcome on back into some D&D prep. Make sure there's a neat uniform line there. Hoppa. 3 and 4. Now these are going to get lost. Finally able to rest since exams were done a few days ago. Oh, very nice. How do you feel like you did? There we go. Put this over here. Now, usually whenever I do take D&D adventures with me, I usually do have a specific folder for this kind of thing, so I'm not too worried about it, but... The statue opposite the door has a key lying in its hand. The key is made of gold inlaid with precious gems, and is a carved element of the statue. If the key is removed before the puzzle is completed, the 2 stone golems come to life and attack. If the players do not get the correct solution to the puzzle, there is a rumbling and thunderwave is cast from the platform in the direction of the character who placed the last disc. Any characters that are working in the puzzle must make a successful DC 17 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a character takes 15 thunder damages and is pushed 10 feet from the statue. Any tiles that have been placed on the puzzle are also pushed back 10 feet. The trap can be detected with a successful DC 20 investigation check. Once found, a character with a set of thieves' tools can disarm the trap with a successful DC 20 dexterity check. If the characters are stuck, they can try and succeed at a DC 15 intelligence check. They can get one of the following clues. The grid is a 4x4, each quadrant has 4 spaces, and there are 4 different rooms. It seems that none of the rooms can be used more than once in a given row or column. A rune cannot be repeated in the same 2x2 grid. So I think what I'll do is if they kind of place everything wrong, I'll have everything kind of go kablami. And if not, then. Okay. And then the final room. The room ahead is brightly lit and there are many voices coming from it. The voices are raised in anger and it sounds like there may be a scuffle going on as you hear the crashing of furniture. Characters scouting ahead or peeking in the room can see 3 master thieves arguing while a nervous abjurer frantically searches the books on the shelves. The pirates appear to be arguing over the contents of a large sack lying on the floor nearby. So, I either replace a master thief with 2 swashbucklers, or I just remove one entirely. The mage is looking for a way out of the extra dimensional space. He planned on being able to use the same ritual used to get in, but it didn't work. The pirates are angry and the mage knows it is only a matter of time before they turn on him. The pirates are arguing over the treasure. Some are saying that once they get out, they could hide it, kill the mage, blame the mage for stealing the treasure, and then come back for it later. The others are calling the traitors as such and are threatening to slit the throats if they try it. There is a ritual set up by the altar. This is the failed attempt by the mage. When the mage notices the characters, read the following. Capture them! They got in! They may know how to get out! If the master thieves die, the mage tells the others to kill any characters not seen wielding arcane magics. If the mage is defeated before the pirates, they attempt to capture Tinos and use him to compel the characters to surrender. The sack the pirates had contained many books from the library. Anything that insinuated that it could be about magic was thrown into the sack. The pirates also have 1,000 gold pieces worth of gold and gems. Along with the books is a small box that has 2 items in it, a superior healing potion and a scroll of stone skin. And lastly, there is the Penance of the Wind Rune. You think you did okay on most of them. Hopefully you managed to pass most of them so you can actually advance to the 2nd year. Ooh, good luck, buddy. You got this, though. If you've done it before, then you probably have a little bit more experience with it. And then, with the pirates and the mage defeated, Tinos is easily able to perform the ritual with the help of the characters. As Tinos says the final words of the ritual, a portal appears on the wall next to the altar to Ogma. On the other side, you can see a forest. A few seconds later, you see the face of Ulcaster telling you to hurry through. Ulcaster is very pleased that the characters were able to stop the pirates from plundering the library. As a reward, he lets the characters keep the Pennant of the Wind Rune, as well as the potion and scroll. You also gain an additional 1,000 gold piece reward for completing the mission. So I think that Ulcaster is just going to cheap out. Okay, experience rewards, useless. I can ignore them. And yeah, so I think at this point it's basically just collecting the miniatures for stuff. And after that, I think I'm going to be taking a short break after that, and then we're going to be switching over to painting some miniatures. What exactly, I'm not sure, but I think I know what it is that I'm going to be doing. Okay. An abjurer. What kind of campaign would this be? This would be Adventurers League. Adventurers League based on the Storm King's Thunder book. Are you familiar with Adventurers League, Doc? I gave an entire spiel about it at the beginning, but I don't think you were there for it. 1, 2, 3. But we do need to draw maps. That is the thing. Not really. Well, let me tell you about Adventurers League. With such amazing adventures as The Tempter, which is set in Barovia. So, D&D Adventurers League is an organized series of adventures that are hosted by Wizards of the Coast executive. You're not familiar with D&D in general. You know the general concept and how it's supposed to work, but not the details, as you've never really played it before. Well, that's okay, and if you ever do decide to go and play D&D and you don't necessarily have a group, you can check out Adventurers League. Adventurers League is the officially organized D&D play system with which you have a character and you run through an adventure that is released by Wizards of the Coast themselves. And once you run through this adventure once you run through the adventure, you have your character, and you can then take the character, and as long as you make sure that you get all your proper documentation and stuff in order, you can take that character and play another Adventurers League adventure somewhere else. It doesn't have to be the same it doesn't have to be in the same series of adventures. You can just play it somewhere else, or you can just play any adventure somewhere else, give or take a couple of caveats. Yeah, it's generally a fairly good way of kind of seeing how D&D runs for you and how you enjoy playing the game. And if you want to try something else out, but if you're playing a game and want to try something out but don't necessarily have players or a campaign in which you can do it, you can always go to Adventurers League and play a character there. So basically you kind of like take the adventure and stuff, you take the treasure and stuff and take it with you into the next adventure. Okay. Put the stapled stuff away, but first, yeah, I think that I can just go for a smaller tin. Spare myself having all of my stuff with me. Out comes the buttload of stuff that I have not painted yet. This tin up here. There. Here we have the beholder. Now this is quite specifically a beholder miniature that I got from this Kickstarter that I backed a while back, and I have it all primed up. But it was supposed to kind of be resting on top of a tree. I'm not sure if you can really see it because it's not really that primed outside of just being black. But it was supposed to be on a tree, and the tree wasn't there. And it didn't fit because of how my resin curing settings were on the 3D printer. That it didn't really work out. It couldn't really print a part that fit. So I had to hand sculpt something using green stuff and milliput, and it works. It does its job, but what exactly I'm gonna paint it as, I'm not entirely sure. We're taking that guy. We are also taking this guy. This should be a mind flayer, but we will use it as an alhoon. For some reason, like, this entire campaign, the Kickstarter campaign was like, oh, you know, all this stuff is for D&D, and you can use it for D&D adventures. Use it in our D&D adventures, even. And then it's like, okay, but most D&D miniatures, they come in with base scales that go from 25mm to 50mm scale. I'll show it once I actually get a map out and ready to work on, but I'll take him. The green Abishai broke off. And then we're going to be using this guy for Tabor. Was that his name? I don't think it was, but whatever. What are you going to do? Free up a little bit more of the magnet. Because you need to have a little bit of direct contact for the magnet to actually, like, properly adhere to stuff. There, that's much better. Now this specific miniature is actually Tabletop Miniatures is it's Uncle Adam. Uncle Adam himself. If you follow, like, the tabletop painting YouTube in some way, shape, or form, you're more than likely going to run into some of the people of which I have certain miniatures of, because they were in that particular the particular Kickstarter that ended up giving me a lot of these miniatures. Like this is the miniature for Angel Giraldes, a Spanish painter. Works a lot with Vallejo. This miniature came from that campaign. Take a wild guess what she is. Because of her base, I could actually put her on a stronger magnet. This guy was in there. Like, I specifically backed this particular Kickstarter because this was a hoplite miniature that they had in there. I was like, ooh, I need hoplite miniatures. I like hoplites. But I believe that is everything that I need from this. Yep. I have an Alhoon. I need Bone Naga. Can I just regular Naga? I could always just be like, yeah, no, these giants, we're using them as well now. Do we even have any? I do, actually. I do have things that I could put there. In lieu. Diviner, not there. Intellect Devourer. I do have an STL for Intellect Devourers, only I won't have the time to get it printed out and ready to go. A mage. I'm not sure what to take with me as the mage. I will take this Eldar. I'll take Alandar with me. Yes, that is this character's name. This was actually my this is actually my Pathfinder character, and if I ever end up playing like a longer form, playing in a longer form D&D campaign myself, this would probably be the character that I take with me. Alandar is his name. I would definitely need to like repaint him. Get my hands on a new Alandar. Like the idea is that he's supposed to be an Archfey warlock who is not allowed to show his face or his proper name. Basically, he entered the service. He comes from a tribe of autumn elves, and the patron of this particular family is this particular village patrons. It's an archfey, and they patron 4 separate villages, kind of littered all over the place. They're utopias for the people that live in them. With, of course, the well-noted caveat with utopias that more often than not they aren't utopias. In this case, it is because every few years or so, I wasn't entirely familiar with the time. I don't recall the precise timing anymore off the top of my head, but every few years they would send out one of their villagers. And to prevent their origin from being known, they would have to wear masks at all times, never show their faces to anyone. They would not be allowed to use their own names, and they would always run under the name of the patron, which is Alandar. And this particular guy, he had a lover, guy. In my head it's a dude, but he isn't entirely sure if that was always the case, because they had a lover, and they once this guy was chosen as like, okay, you are going to be the one that is going to go on this trek, they did not take that well, and so like everyone in the village. Oh yeah, that was also his thing in there. Everyone in the original village that the person that would be sent on these treks would go on. They would never be allowed to actually refer to the person that left under that name for the entire duration of their trek. They would effectively be Alandar, and they would never have existed. The person that they were never existed until they came back. And this guy did not take that well, because he had a lover, or has a lover. He knows that he has some reason to actually stick through with all the bullshit that he has to put up with. But because they didn't take it well, they decided to perform an act of defiance. Kind of an eternal reminder from one to the other of like, yeah, no, we are. I am forever yours, and I am forever yours. And so they went like they were both arcane practitioners in some way, shape, or form, and they started carving into each other's backs these complicated runes and stories, and this magical enchantment that'll always point them in the right direction of each other, and the Archfey did not like that, because that was not the point of the trek. So he basically mind wiped Alandar, destroyed as much of the person that they once were in a fit of rage as they could. However, because of the magical enchantment that was carved into his back, or their back, they go through life kind of constantly feeling someone kind of there, and they always feel like they want to go back there, and the only thing that keeps them going forward in this entire trek is kind of like, okay, I have taken your name, I have taken your memories. Only once you return home, after having completed this trek to all three remaining villages and shared your expertise and your knowledge, will we allow you back, and will I provide you your memories again. So that is their motivation for carrying on with the bullshit that they've been forced into. But again, I would need to have a DM and a system that would kind of allow for that. Kind of like, okay, no, they pull their power from the Archfey. They don't have any memories of who they were before, so it's this. And maybe they knew a lot of stuff. Maybe they were actually a very powerful fighter, or they were a very capable paladin, or what have you. They could have been that, but because of the way that the mind wipe works, they have no recollection of that. I would probably be like, okay, DM, please give me a stat that I will put a fairly high modifier, a fairly high stat marker in, or a stat score in, and then that will be the role or the function that this man, woman, person had previously. But that is just a very fun idea that I had. No clue if I'm ever actually going to be able to do it. Now, I have a mage, I have an Alhoon, I have a bunch of other things. I needed Master Thieves, here we have one, a Tiefling, and again needs to remove a little bit of this felt from the base, or at least the parts where it connects to the magnet. Stick it to the wall. Master Thieves have only a single short sword and a crossbow. I love how this Master Thief does get multi-attack, but most rogues in D&D don't. Any race, any alignments. Let me grab another box. Kind of realizing a problem with the way that I have some of my miniature storage boxes set up, because I have these really useful boxes that I use for miniature storage, and they're great for that. But like more often than not, like my identifying things are painting tape or painter's tape, schilder's tape in Dutch. Kind of on the side and on the front, kind of like there, which kind of indicates what exactly it is. So this particular box, for example, is undead, has ghouls, has wolves, has zombies, as well as some evil spellcasters in it. But the way that everything's kind of set up right now, I have this, I have these boxes stacked up off to the side behind my monitor over here, and I can't see any of the tape. So I'm gonna have to go through all my boxes again and add another layer of tape to the sides here, because I also have the tape on the sides there. Now fortunately I'm okay with everything kind of taking a tumble, because most of the stuff is plastic. And fortunately for me, Games Workshop plastic is incredibly durable. So even all these magnetized zombies, like little magnet, with this little magnet sheets kind of at the bottom here that help keeping everything in place for transportation. Which is a storage tip that I got from Duncan Rhodes. If you look into miniature painting and miniature wargaming as a hobby, you will probably at some point run into Duncan Rhodes as a provider of tutorials. The craziest of Myrmidons. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have just finished up reading through my Dungeons & Dragons preparation prep work, and I'm now gathering miniatures for this particular thing, and then we're going to be going over to drawing the map at 11 in the evening. I might just do like one map and then do the other map in the morning, or I could just draw everything out on something else when the actual game starts. No. Monstrosities and plants. People. That's what I wanted. That will have some things. Yeah, no worries. I know what your name is, Strike. You just finished up your second one-shot ever. Nice. Well, I'm doing Adventures League prep. Now this... a lot of Warhammer. Let's see, yeah, no, with the exception of one thing that I spy in here, all of this is Games Workshop stuff. And that one thing is actually a Dungeons & Dragons miniature. This fellow. Yeah, I hate how unsharp it is. Went for a pirate, as you and being DM. Yeah, no, that's good. Always good to see more DMs kind of enter the scene. I wonder if you guys can hear me with the boxes kind of in between me and everything else. This is a rogue. This. And I only really needed two, but like, what weapon do swashbucklers need? You went for a pirate setting? Well, this particular adventure, interestingly enough, has sky pirates in it. That kind of jumped off of a cloud. Started entering a particular thing or ruin. Now, swashbucklers, they have a dagger and a rapier. So two-handed is probably the way to go. Or multi-wielding, actually. Yep. I do have a multi-wielder back on the other thing. And by thing, I mean the other miniature storage options that I have. God, I have so much stuff to paint. I really do need to make a habit of like, okay, so every Monday, every Wednesday, I stream painting. I really need to make a habit out of that. So much shit to paint. So much shit to paint. You know, they are lorded over by a giant, which is the villain of this particular season of Adventurers League. Okay, that is 2 creatures. Now here, I have the Naga that I needed as well. Let's have a look at what the Bone Naga needed again. I'm looking at these particular miniatures. Tip this over to the side. This is from the old from the Shadow and Pain box set from Age of Sigmar. Those snake ladies. Bone Naga are casters at 5th level casters. And I think I needed 4 of them. This lady has had a piece of her spear snapped off. 2, 3, 4. 4 Bone Naga. Putting everything back in place. Did it have any dual wielders here? No, I have mice. And this of all adventures is much more so a you're against humanoid things and constructs. So I'll take that guy. This guy. Although this fellow does need felt at the bottom. And the base of these Stormlight miniature STLs is 30mm. It's a very awkward scale, I find. Especially for the things that I would use them for, which is tabletop RPGs. Yep. As for dual wielding, I know that I had a couple of different things, but as it turns out, I have this fairly fragile blind woman wielding 2 swords, or I have this barbarian, and neither of them are really like swashbucklers. Do I have anything up there? No, I do not have anything up there. But I did have this tiefling. 2 weapons. So we're just gonna use her. Gee, Thomas. You're thinking too far ahead, man. getting too good at the game. Push that back in place. Put this box back in place. And then put everything in the box. I will take the smaller stuff out first. And it might also be the case that I have to put a couple of things back in the bigger box. But how are you enjoying DMing so far, Strike? Because I know that for a lot of people, DMing is kind of like, oh, that's a very big step, very big change to how I enjoy the game and how I engage with Dungeons and Dragons. And for me, it's predominantly been the only thing I really know when it comes to D&D, because I am firmly in the forever DM square. Will this be able to fit? Yes, but I will probably have to put stuff in the bottom here already. I'll gingerly push everything in place in advance. Metal minis better. Kind of just dropping it in place. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move a couple of things to the bigger box. Move you out of the way. Everything's so carefully kind of put in place here that I know for a fact that once I open this box tomorrow, most, like when the game starts, most of it's going to be out of place and or broken. Probably not broken, but definitely not the place it's supposed to be. Listening to at the moment. That's what I'm listening to. Also, I fucking forgot lunch for my Snorlax again. God damn it. That's going to be a thing that happens more often this week because I have a week off now. And normally, like, Pokemon Sleep's kind of a way for me to keep track of like where I am in my day. Like lunchtime, okay, I feed my Snorlax. A little bit before lunchtime, okay, I'll think about whether I should feed my Snorlax now or later. Stuff all this in there. This is a fairly full box filled with miniatures that are magnetized and kept in place. That means that this is also perfectly fine to put in place. The way back of the adventure. Gets the player hand out. The puzzle. And then the puzzle solution. That's all back here. These things, I will put them at the front, kind of, so I can keep track of them and see very visibly that they are there. Hi, buddy. Over here. Come on. In it goes. This goes. There. That's the adventure prep. This stage done. This we will keep in mind. This we will keep in mind. And this is what I actually have to deal with. So let's go do some math, because I know that my my sheets can go up to 25 by 31. 25 by 31. You can't see that, but it's there. Now it's also fucking impossible to actually count this stuff, so I'm going to see how well that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Oh, fuck. 38. If I cut out all this here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And minus hallways, that would be... And then I could always just kind of be like, okay, it's 26. Always can be like, okay, go in over there, squiggle, squiggle. And then you're there. Implies that there is more. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Eighteen, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27. I might actually be able to squeeze all this onto one sheet. Because if it's 25, I just have to move everything up a couple of squares. We might actually be able to save this. This was being used already. Come on. Welcome to the usual suspects. Sheets of paper. That I use for D&D. Kind of need to be... would normally on this desk fits just fine. However, I have a bunch of stuff everywhere, making it a good deal harder. Like most things in my life, I make things difficult for myself here. In part because I have so much stuff that I want to do. Then once I actually get the time to do something, I am paralyzed by the choice. And then end up not doing what I want to do, which always makes me kind of sad. But today was a good day for that. Now, the way that we usually start all these maps is by marking out the chest markings. A, D, E, F, G, I, J, K, L, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, no Z. And then we're kind of gonna flow through everything here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. Have this map with me. Where did my pen go? These minis, I will put them on top of my phone over there next to the other miniatures. Let's count how big these rooms are. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 35 by 35 feet. 3, 4, 5. Of course they do the halfway thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the circle kind of ends halfway. 7 by 7. 7.5 by 7.5 circle. How many did we have to deal with again here? Start from this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So yeah, this could fit if I remove all that middle space there. Kind of be like, yeah, no, you can't go through there because I had to save space. When my players inevitably are like, oh, can I pop through this wall here? Six, 7. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can assure you that I'm going to put a lot of work into this map and then I'm going to dunk it out immediately afterwards because this is not a fun location. Oh! Whoops. Just realized that I should have moved it one further over because half location. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Means it will be 26. 27, 28, 29. I'm going to have the door there. Squiggly kind of dot, 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 dot. You begin in the one place, you go to the other place. Now this had an altar. One. Three. 4. And that is a 7 by 7.5, 7.5 by 7 by 7.5 circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the other door would be here. 2, 3, 4. Kind of there. Yeet. Am I good at drawing circles? Absolutely not. 1, 2, 3.5. So there. There we go. Kind of moving from one place to the other here as we kind of roll over. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 8, 9, 20. Now it starts about there-ish. Squiggly lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. How big was this room? 4 down like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 up like this. This is the Naga room. And then it was another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. Beep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. If we need 31, we will find out. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, another additional 5. I had a little bit more leeway than I thought I did, but I'm not one to take that for granted. Five, 5, 5, 5, 2, 3, 3, 3, 5 by 3 by 5. Five, 5, 3 down there, with a door over here. Squiggly lines. Squiggle. Dot, 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 dot. There we go. That connects those two. this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Don't have that space, but whatever. I can shorten the bookcases in a bit. So we'll just remove a last row there. Have that kind of teleport over there. I think that I'll just try to add some of the details as we go along with it. 2. I had to check what song I was listening to. This was remarkably depressing. But no, the depression makes sense. There's another fucked up there. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two. And 4. 5. 6. There we go. Just add a single line over there. Yeet. Okay, so in this case I would put the wizard here and have the thieves kind of like be hidden throughout here. So if the characters have to move up towards the wizard, who's pelting them relentlessly, they will risk getting sneak attacked by the Master Thieves. Yeah, sounds good. Right, now that I actually have a map in front of me, let me show you... let me show you guys why I use 25mm scale miniatures and seemingly constantly keep on insisting for 25mm scales miniatures to be used. I have a bunch of 25mm bases kind of printed out over there. Thank you, Shadow. You're being very useful right now. I have a bunch of 25mm bases just kind of printed out over there, and the reason why I use 25mm is because they kind of fit into one of these squares. So if I were to take this this big slave holder that I had printed out for a friend of mine, this guy is on a 75mm base. I have over here as well Alhar, who we were painting up during the last painting stream. The survivor that shouldn't have survived by all means, as well as the miniature that I was planning on painting up. However, I'd forgotten to keep track of time. Get started. The intention was to start getting painting this miniature, who has a base that is a bit larger in scale. Is it? No, it is not. But I do have... I did have one. Yeah, just grab this fellow over here. This is one of the miniatures from the Brotherwise Games Stormlight Archive RPG, the tabletop game that they are starting all of the Stormlight Archive tabletop paraphernalia things with. And these guys are on 30mm scale bases. I also have a couple of other fun miniatures that are at a bigger scale, such as this fun guy, and a bunch of other things. One of the blink dogs might actually be a good one to show. This here is a blink dog. Now, if you will compare this base to this base, you will notice that this base here on the right is larger. This is a 32mm base, and as you might be able to understand from the name, it is a little bit larger. Most tabletop war games, such as Warhammer, they are very specific on which bases you use for your miniatures. 1 second. So, for instance, I have here a pretty hefty, fairly big champion. It was some fucking chapter of Adeptus Custodes, I believe. No, this is Adeptus Custodes, and I'm actually very happy with how this particular paint scheme works. I'm very happy to have received inspiration from Dark Souls. Poor Artorias of the Abyss. But he is supposed to be on a 40mm base, which is larger than the 32mm base for which I have him prepared, because 32mm feels a little bit smaller and fits a little bit better on this kind of square than 40mm, which would get closer to taking up a large area. But 25mm fits in one of these squares. So I will plonk Owlhar there, and I will plonk a Blink Dog, which is at 32 millimeters, right next to him. And this Archer, which is at 30 millimeters, also there next to him. And this dude over here, that is also 30 on a 32 millimeter base, and oh, kind of overlapping over on this square over here. And that is why I prefer to have all my stuff on 25 millimeter or multiplicatives of 25 millimeter bases, because that way I can very easily just kind of have like multiple different things that are at 25 millimeter, just kind of like plonked on a battle map. And then moving from there. Now, one of my players, he has a 25 millimeter square base, which, well, it works for the kind of maps that I use. But we have here, for instance, we have here this huge figure. That's on a 75 millimeter base, and that fits within 3 squares. So this is really just like, when it comes to miniature painting and miniature collecting and stuff, this is something that I tend to pay a fair amount of attention to. Like, okay, what kind of bases is it on? If it's on a larger base than 25 millimeter, or outside of the 25 millimeter multiplicative scale, I'm usually like, it really depends on the sculpt in that case, because otherwise, like, with shit like this, it's like, okay, yeah, fun, I suppose, I guess. It works, it does its job. Once I have it painted up, it'll make for a very basic-ass paladin with a very basic-ass maul. And then there's stuff like the Stormlight Archives miniatures that are coming along that are all going to be produced at 30 millimeter, which makes me very sad, because then I can't really use them on this kind of map without having to accommodate for it. Like this fellow over here. And that makes me very sad. The words of Erica Lindbeck. This Dragoon's going to be so fun to paint up eventually, but I've been looking at that miniature for so long at this point that I'm kind of like, well, I kind of have to get her painted up. But yeah, I think that is actually going to be a wrap. It is now 12 o'clock, and I do have to keep in mind that even though I am on vacation right now, that is no excuse to slack on getting my sleeping schedule and maintaining it. So I am afraid that this is going to be it. I will most likely, now that I think about it, since I have this entire week off, I will try to get some more streams in. Of course, if the schedule allows, I will see how many miniatures I can paint up within this time. Probably won't be a lot, because I might end up filling my days with like visiting people or other things, or something might come up. You never know with me, to be honest. I sure as all don't. But yeah, we are going to do that. We are going to keep painting. Actually going to try to get a little bit more paint on miniatures, which frankly is the miniature painting hobbyist's biggest pitfall. The biggest sin of the miniature painter is all the miniatures that they collect and then promptly do not paint. And so they just kind of lie around looking very pretty inside a box or freshly made. And I also have a Kaine and a Stola over here to get started in, and that's a skill that is unfamiliar to me, so that is going to be very fun to actually see if I can figure it out. I mean, I'm sure I can. I mean, I know for a fact that now that I actually the miniatures at those scale, you have to go a lot more into texture and not just and like blending and stuff, and not just going with like, oh hey, this is blue now, and oh hey, it's painted up. This place is called Ulcaster's Library. All casts. I actually quite like being able to do D&D prep in this particular way on a stream, because I have done more D&D prep streams in the past, but that has all been just like, okay, capture what is on my monitor while I type it out and just think it out there. I actually quite enjoy being able to do stuff physically with like paper and shit. Library. There we go. Oldcaster's Library. Now this is going to be fun when I throw a lot of snakes at people. Right, well, time to roll up the map. Now this is absolutely going to be going into the trash, so I'm not going to bother with tape. Because there's nothing in particular about this dungeon that tickles my fancy. Like, you know, it's like 4 encounters and 1 Sudoku. That is not fun. But in any case, guys, thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for everyone who chatted. That would be Dockwaves, Furwan, Leon. I saw Hash in there as well. Thank you very much for watching, Hash. Yeah, I'm likely going to be live again at some point during the week. I'm not sure when exactly, but sometime over the week I will be doing stuff. Yeah. Did I outlast the music? Wouldn't surprise me if I did. I think I did. When did that happen? It's only 2 hours, that's right. Oh, I literally just wrapped up with it. Okay, great. Perfect timing. Well, guys, thank you all very much for watching. Very much appreciated that you did. If you aren't already, and you really enjoy what it is that I'm doing, please consider hitting the subscribe button. YouTube has a thing in which you can only really get a custom URL once you have hit 100 subscribers. And we haven't hit 100 subscribers yet, and I would really like to just get the name either Crazy Myrmidon or Alice Rhodes or something. I'd like to get one of the handles under which I go. I would like to get that out of the way. Also, if you kind of just like what I'm rambling on about and want to see that a little bit more structured format, a little bit more je ne sais quoi. Not necessarily a structured form, but if you'd like to see my thoughts on various video games, then I highly recommend that you check out Alice Rhodes. That's the website that I work on. That's where I post reviews and the like. And I am currently working on a review for Final Fantasy 16. That is one of those things that falls under, well, hey, I'm going to have to do that at some point. Play through Final Fantasy 16 again and get pictures for take a lot of screenshots for it. That's going to be a great little work in progress over the coming week. Kind of like go through stuff and it's like, oh, hey, I remember that this particular cutscene had some pretty stuff in it, so I'm going to wait and going to take pictures of it. I have a couple of pictures, but not a lot. But I will get there eventually once I have everything pictured out. I'm ready to go. In the meantime, I might actually also like take some time over the coming days to actually probably get a bot set up. But then again, previous like adventures with bots is like, oh hey, someone chat. Oh no, it's just the bot. Oh no, it's just the bot. So I might have to look into that a little bit more and how that goes, because, well, bots are a lot of work. But in any case, thank you all so very much for watching, if you did, and I will talk to you all during the next stream. And yeah, Moment on Else Roads, back on the road again. Toodles. Gigi kind of started messing with some of the buttons. Kind of fucked up the scene transition. Big sigh.